So Osho in the first chapter talks about the three C's, which is consciousness, creativity, and compassion. Like one has to be meditative enough, he has to be loving enough, and then the creativity just flows in, because first of all, you are shant, you are patient. There is no rushing around, or just a need to do some activity going on. Then there's love, there's no jealousy, there's no envy, like, oh no, this, that, or like just passing judgments to find entertainment for yourself. And he also talks about how relaxation is actually so hard for us, because when we say that, okay, I'm going to relax for a bit, that relaxation is never the just relaxing and letting go of your mental drama, and it's never that, it's never full relaxation. It's always like, okay, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna swipe my phone, watch some reels, read some news. If not that, I'll smoke a cigarette. My cigarette is over, I'll smoke another cigarette. Now I'll sleep. So there's no moment of just relaxation. And how he says that, okay, that is something that's very important. One has to know when it's time to do action and when one is actually doing just an activity. Osho strongly talks about the individuality and the individual freedom, and how being very individualistic about your own ideas, being, going out there with your own idea. So by this time, I was like, okay, interesting. This is something that I want to get more into. And he also talks about how the collective mind or the mob mentality is something that you should stay away from. And but also how the collective mind has its own bribes. For example, it respects and honors people, which is true. Like, but as long as you agree that collective mind is the only way. For example, in groups you may notice that people don't really like to make decisions, like, okay, whatever you say, we'll do that. Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as we are together. So there's no individual ideas, or something that's my suggestion. And if even like the usually the my suggestion person is the leader of the group, and the rest are like, okay, okay, we are in, doesn't matter. Very also, I'm not judging, it's okay, groups are nice, people have friends and stuff, but it just didn't work for me. And for all these years, I did actually have really big groups, except I was the murga, or what do you call it in English, I was the puppet who was made fun of. So everybody's laughing, I'm also ha ha ha, funny, come back. So yeah, the compulsion of being in a group, I understood all of that, and I was on it. I was like, okay, I want to know more, I want to know more. He says that there's a huge difference between action and activity. Action is a quick response. Action is what you gotta do. Okay, I lost my wallet, so I gotta block my cards, I gotta do this, da 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 da. Activity is, okay, I have nothing to do, I'll just smoke a cigarette, I guess. I'll just look around because there's nothing else to do. Check my phone. I wonder what she said that day. Just like something that's constantly going on, but it's actually unnecessary. It's not really necessary. It's not an action, it's an activity. And how activity is something that comes from the past, or just, watching Netflix all the time. What's going on? I'll check out this new series, which is not bad. But you have to realize that, when is there a need, when is there not a need, when there is not a need. I'm not sure if I'm using the right sentence, but yeah, so understand the difference between action and activity, and see if, like, your daily activities, your daily routine has more of action or more of activity. He says, shut firm the mouth and silent remain. So by this he means that while meditating, while we are practicing how to be away from the psychological drama going within, like being away from the thoughts, like, not, it's not nice, and it doesn't even work to, just push away the thought. It doesn't work. It might work for a few seconds, but mostly it's just this constant fight where you're like, oh my god, I don't think I can do this. So we'll skip that, and we'll let the thoughts come. We'll just be a watcher. We won't engage with them. We'll just watch. And even in that watching, we have to be passive. Like like you don't have to go up and down with the thoughts that are occurring. Like no urgency, no jitteriness, just watching. Be passive. And in that passivity, you become a hollow bamboo. And from that hollow bamboo, divine comes. Like it flows. So you have to create that space. You have to create space between your psychological drama and whatever that could come to you, flow to you, and yeah. So this is something I really enjoyed reading as well, like the idea of becoming a hollow bamboo, because we think that we are filled up with so much you know the regular sentences that we use, like I'm caught up with a lot of things, there is a lot of drama going on in my head. So that means that there is weight inside, right? Like there's tick 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 stuff going on. So yeah, this is what we should maybe try thinking of, like just being a hollow bamboo. I'm nothing more. I'm just hollow bamboo, and whatever that will come to me, come through me, will just come. I just have to create some space for it. So he says that creativity is not really doing, instead it is allowing. You allow creativity to flow through you. It comes to you. It is not sitting in a box just here or here somewhere. So for example, how we say that ek idea aaya, like there's one idea that just came to my mind. So that is something that comes. It's not already there, it comes. And that is what we call this divine energy, or whatever you may want to call it.